I want to introduce our guest, Congressman Steny Hoyer. He is joining us now from the Hill. Congressman obviously is the House Majority Leader. We're so glad to have you with us. I just want to ask you, Congressman, right off the bat, what do you make of this idea of FASB relaxing the rules? I mean, this, as you know, in large part has been to blame for some of the financial crisis.
I think there's general agreement with the action that was taken. Clearly, many of these troubled assets, financial institutions have no intention of selling them at fire sale prices, and therefore the valuing them at fire sale prices is really not accurate. And what it has done is it's frozen the ability of banks to do more lending. Clearly, we need greater liquidity in the markets. I think this will help.
On the flip side, Congressman, as you know, is some people saying that, okay, fine, it's hard to value these products, but we need to come up with some sort of amount and put it on the books.
Well, I think that's accurate, and I think that, as you know, the FASB has been directed to accomplish that objective and set the rules. I think their analysis, however, is essentially agreed to by the members of the financial committees on both the House and Senate side, that some adjustments were necessary if we were going to get greater liquidity. I had the opportunity to talk to many of the local banks, of the small banks around this country yesterday, and they're doing pretty well. It's really the big banks that are having the problem, but even the smaller banks that I've talked to, in terms of the accounting rules that they've had to apply, has undermined their ability to make loans.
Congressman, we want to finish that thought with you. Also ask you about what's going on with the budget talk there in D.C. We are going to be back with Congressman Hoyer right after this quick break.
Bloomberg's Best in Class is brought to you by the all-new 2010 Lexus RX, reinventing the vehicle that invented it all.
Because we can't reinvent traffic, we reinvented how the driver navigates around it. Explore this and other reinventions at lexus.com/allnewrx.
EGX30, sponsored by Orascom Telecom, giving the world a voice. EGX30, sponsored by Orascom Telecom, giving the world a voice.
Don't be just a trader, be a speed trader. Get direct access to over 35 market centers. Trade unlimited shares, including OTC Bulletin Board and Pink Sheets. Sign up for a free trial today, speedtrader.com.
Tune in for breaking market updates every 10 minutes on the O's. Only on Bloomberg Radio, 11:30 a.m. in New York, and nationwide on XM and Sirius Satellite Radio.
What if your car didn't come from a factory, but out in the world where you actually drive? Find out for yourself at lexus.com/allnewrx.
You should know the euro is soaring right now on these comments coming through from the ECB President Jean-Claude Trichet, saying the key rate not at its lowest limit, does not, though, expect to cut the deposit rate further. A new headline crossing the Bloomberg terminal just this moment. ECB to decide on new non-standard measures that next month. Sounds like they are talking about quantitative easing, a little bit more of an aggressive strategy. You do have the euro soaring on this news right now versus the dollar. We're going to keep you up to date on everything that the ECB is doing. In the meantime, we want to go back to our guest, Congressman Hoyer, standing by from Capitol Hill. We're talking about the decision coming through from FASB, Financial Accounting Standards Board, pressured basically by financial companies and lawmakers as well to kind of ease these mark-to-market fair value rules. Congressman, we were speaking about this earlier. You mentioned you see a distinction between the way that regional banks do business versus the conglomerates. Overall, though, you think the more lax standards are a good thing?
I think they will. Certainly we'll have to look at those perhaps in a year or 2 years from now when we get through this economic slump where these assets held by these banks or these financial conglomerates have been very, very substantially reduced. However, again, I would stress that the regional banks and the local banks, which were much more interested in the creditworthiness of those to whom they gave loans, have been doing pretty well. In fact, are now making profits, and indeed, in some instances, their loans are up. But I think this will, in the short term, certainly try to help us through this crisis.
And Congressman, this is Betty. Let me just jump in here real quickly. I mean, if it works, this is great. If it causes more lending, that's great. However, the question that and the concern that this raises is if Congress gets involved, and Congress is getting involved in accounting standards at banks, where does that stop?
Well, now, the Congress did not take this action, as you point out. It was the accounting board standards that took this action.
But Congress certainly wielded influence on this, though.
The Congress clearly indicated that some easing was probably appropriate in this instance. But Congress did not mandate this. Congress has an opinion on this. The Financial Services Committee had an opinion on this, not as a committee, but the chairman clearly indicated that some modification was probably appropriate, given the crisis that confronted us.
Congressman, I want to get back to the budget, if you don't mind. As we know, this is a hot topic, a hot issue in D.C. right now. Will the House budget version of budget reconciliation be eliminated?
The House version of budget reconciliation deals with I understand what you mean.
All right.
In our budget, we have a reconciliation process available, and the important point, it's available, not mandated, for the health care portion of our budget as well as the student loan portion, not for the energy portion of our bill. Such a procedure is in the rules, has been used regularly by Republicans when they were in charge of the House and the Senate over the last 8 years. And as a result,
because the Democrats have been taking criticism for the right to use this.
Well, we have been taking criticism, but it's ironic because those criticizing used it regularly during the time that they were in charge of Congress. So it lacks a little credibility, in my opinion. But the real issue here is on our budget. Our budget adopts the priorities suggested by the president, supported by the American people, on health care availability for all our people, on energy independence and addressing global warming, and to beef up our educational system so we're competitive in world markets. We think it's the right thing to do.
Congressman, we thank you. Bloomberg TV returns.